Hello everyone, Minute Plus Meditation, Tuesday, February the 8th, continuing with 1 Kings. Now this is Solomon's, the authors captured his prayer. But will God indeed dwell on earth? Even heaven and the highest heaven cannot contain you, much less his house that I have built. Regard your servant's prayer and his plea, O Lord my God, heeding the cry and the prayer that your servant prays to you today, that your eyes may be open night and day toward this house, the place of which you said, my name shall be there, that they may heed the prayer that your servant prays toward this place. So this is his heartfelt prayer, which is in front of the entire assembly. And if you find it difficult to pray spontaneously or just when you're alone with God, actually read the prayers of the Old Testament. Read these kind of prayers and pray them and kind of make them your own. I think it won't take too long before you start praying like this in your own way. It's a great way to learn how to pray because these prayers, some of them are they're all actually beautiful. The prayer of Esther, the prayer of Daniel, the prayer of Isaiah. Many of these prayers are captured in the readings of Lent. So when we get into the season of Lent, I'll capture some of these prayers. They're magnificent. They're real models for prayer. And they really are spoken from the heart. And that's what our prayer should be as well, spoken from the heart. It doesn't have to be fancy words. It's just, Solomon didn't have a script. He was just praying. He was just opening his heart and letting forth, the gratitude and for what was in his heart to express God's greatness and his glory and so on. And that's the way our prayer should be as well. Other things, there's other kinds of prayer like, petitions and, just telling God our woes, our sorrows and so on. But here he's just expressing how God is great and, will he dwell in this place? We could say, God, will you dwell in my heart? The soul in the state of grace. The Holy Trinity dwells not in a great temple, yes, not just in the tabernacle, but in our own soul. We walk around with heaven on earth. That's what Blessed Elizabeth of the Trinity used to say, is right in here is heaven on earth. It's not hyperbole, right? This is a reality. If we're in the state of grace, we have the Blessed Trinity in our soul. This is heaven on earth. So we have to get in touch with God. We have to check in with him on a regular basis. So, which means, daily prayer and even prayer throughout the day. Okay, so on to the gospel. We're now in Mark chapter 7. So this is the Pharisees noticing Jesus. His disciples are eating with defiled hands and they criticize them because they purify themselves. And Jesus goes on to basically reveal to them how much of a bunch of hypocrites they are because they focus on the externals, but which should actually be a manifestation of the interior desire to be pure, but they have used it as a mask to kind of look over that which they really don't want to pay attention to. And he says, you have a fine way of rejecting the commandment of God in order to keep your tradition, your human tradition, not the law of Moses, the 10 Commandments and other legitimate precepts. For Moses said, honor your father and mother, fourth commandment, and whoever speaks evil of father and mother must die. But you say that if anyone tells father or mother whatever support you might have for me as korban that is offered to God, then no longer permit doing anything for father or mother. So he said, basically, you devise these sort of intricate legal loopholes to get around the commandment of God, and you have the audacity, in your corruption, to then go wash your hands and think you're all clean. You're not willing to look inside. Now, I'm not trying to just destroy, set up the straw man, as it were. But there's a profound lesson here because as Catholics, Protestants, it wouldn't take much to fine-tune this to make an application for them. But for Catholics, we can pray our rosary, we can go to Mass, and yet we walk out of church and we curse and swear and we mistreat the family, we cheat on our taxes, we're cheating on our time at work, we're watching pornography, and yet we go to Mass, and sort of on the outside we're appearing to be, quite holy, or, we're doing all the right things. And maybe we're not trying to be self-righteous, but it can easily seep into our attitude about others. Maybe we know we're, a wretched sinner, and we're trying, to cooperate with God's grace. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the other one who sort of puts on an act. And because of the external things that we can do that make us look good, if we're not careful, we forget the things that are really of worth to God. And that's the purification of the human heart, the alignment of the heart with His will. So this is what we must always be attentive to. What are the intentions? What are the intentions of my heart, of the core of who I am? That's what we should always be asking for, and pray for an upright intention, a purity of intention. God bless you.